Hey guys, sorry. I had to get things all in order, and uh, I ran a little late doing it. But hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Mega HK Rule, thanks for counting down my late minutes. You're a boogeyman boy. Hi, hello. Renegade, how are you? Sebastian, how are you? All right, thanks for letting me know. So this I haven't done one of these before, so this is like a trial run. So things are probably gonna start off a little slow until I get used to doing this. If it picks up. Hey Butter, how are you? But the first thing, because I have about 4 to 5 people signed up for this. So if you want to sign up to play at a later date, I am still taking applications to play this. So as we get started, things will be easier to explain as we go along with them. If anyone's ever played Dungeons and Dragons or any kind of dice rolling multiplayer, a lot of the game is all based on what happens in dice rolls, including catching Pokemon, what Pokemon appear. Everything's going to be based off of, well, not everything, but I would say 70% of it is based off of dice rolling. I'm the quote dungeon master unquote. What the dungeon master is, they pretty much organize and they narrate the game while they throw enemies, obstacles, missions. They tell the story to the players, and the players are representing themselves as a character in the game. I know Mega HK Rule, you have signed up to play. So since you are the first one of the people who signed up who are here, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Yep, K. Rool, you signed up as H, and your starter Pokemon is Froakie, I believe. And your trainer class is the Ace Trainer. So you'll have once per day, you have the ability to use Decisive Strike. Once per day, when you use this ability, the next attack your Pokemon uses will do additional damage based on your strength stat if it's a physical attack, or your intelligence if it's a special attack. Now let's see here. What else do we got for you? Okay, so now we're going to decide what your Froakie's nature is. And that is just going to be decided with a die roll. So I got a nice, it's primitive, but it works. Die roller here. You can roll a D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, or D20. We're going to roll a D20. Depending on what number you get will depend on your Froakie's nature. If you roll a 20, we re-roll again. And if you get a 20 after the second time, then your Froakie will be a shiny. Barnabas, hello, hello, welcome in. Butter, I don't know if I got your. I don't think I ever got a sign up from you, Butter. But we're gonna roll the d20 for Mega HK rules. Oh, it's in the community post? Alright, I'll have to look at that later. You got a 2. So you will not be a shiny. Your Froakie will not be a shiny. I gotta look up what the corresponding nature is to the 2. Your Froakie is a lonely nature. So its physical attack will go up higher, but it's going to suffer in defense. So whenever it levels up, you'll get an extra point to put in physical attack, but you won't get any points to put in your defense. So let's put that down. H, do you want to nickname? Do you want to nickname your Froakie? What would you like to nickname your Froakie? Here, pull this up. I forgot to do this. Boom. Nickname it Mega. Alright, well, Mega the Froakie. And your Pokemon's nature will also take part in certain like storylines. Certain Pokemon with certain natures will react differently to certain situations depending on their nature. Now there will be mints like in the real games where if you want to change your Pokemon's nature lately or later, you do have the option to do so. But right now, your Froakie is lonely. Poor lonely Froakie. All right, so next up, Barnabas is next. We're going to roll to see what his Dratini will be. Barnabas, do you have a nickname for your Dratini? Titan. All right, let's see what the nature is. Here we Can I get rid of this one somehow? Bingo. All right. Boom. 10. So it's not a shiny, unfortunately. 10 is modest nature. Your Dratini is modest, which means it will benefit. It'll get extra special attack when it levels up, but less physical attack. It's okay, Barnabas. Okay, so Butcher, I need to, since you just signed up, I have to look up what you put. All right, so your name's Pasco. You're going to be an ace trainer. And your starter Pokemon is Poliwag. Do you have a nickname for your Poliwag, Butter? Let's pull him up. Name him Big Man. All right, and your Poliwag is a male. I believe I did notify Barnabas that Dratini was a male as well, and HK, your Omega is male as well. All starters start off as male, unless they're a gender-specific Pokemon. Joy Boy, all right, Joy Boy, it will be. Now let's see what Joy Boy will be. Joy Boy's nature 14, not a shiny. Calm nature, so special defense up, physical attack down. All right, so that will be it for players for right now. Butter, since you just joined, I do have to take some time to pull up Poliwag's information because everybody else I was able to get all their information like as the days went by. So you'll just have to bear with me. Yeah, Barnabas. The starting moves for Dratini, it is going to be an uphill battle. I did years ago when I played this for the very first time. Somebody in my play session chose Dratini, and it was an uphill battle for them. But you can always catch more Pokemon and use them when Dratini doesn't work out. All right, so what I have pulled up here, this is the farm. This is where we will be doing the starting of the story. So this takes place on planet Earth in real life. What the storyline is centuries ago, a portal opened up that linked our reality to the Pokemon reality. Whether it was through wormhole, spatial distortions, no one knows for sure. That information has been lost in time. But Pokemon was introduced into our reality. And the Pokemon pretty much took over the biodiversity of our planet, and all the animals that we know today could not compete with food sources and whatnot. The elemental powers of many of the Pokemon were just outmatched. So many, if not all, of the regular animals that would be alive on Earth today went extinct, and the Pokemon pretty much took over. And we have gotten technology from the other Pokemon world. We've gotten the Pokeballs, we've learned how to harness Pokemon, and pretty much the society has accepted this fate, and we are now living in a Pokemon world. What brings you trainers here today is, even though society itself, this is the norm, there are still many issues with this. There are, of course, sinister forces that want to use Pokemon for war, for domination. There's Pokemon poachers who illegally, just like they do with the animal trade out there. So the reason why you guys are at this farm today is Professor Redwood wants to organize a Pokemon Peace Corps, PPC. So anytime you hear PPC, that is what Pokemon Peace Corps. That's what PPC will stand for in this story. Hey, Brotherhood, how's it going? Right now, I'm explaining the backstory, and we're as we start Pokemon Tabletop. So I got Pasco with his Poliwag. I have H with his Froakie, and I have Barnabas with his Dratini. It's okay, Barnabas. No worries. You guys, don't tell me what your age is. Just picture yourself as your trainer. You don't have to give an age or whatnot. Just picture yourself as the trainer, and that's your existence today. You want to be part of the Peace Corps. You were either came voluntarily or you were sent an invitation due to either a relative, a suggestion. There's an it factor about you why you're here today. Brotherhood, you didn't really miss the opportunity to join as a whole. We will be doing more of these. This is gonna pretty much gonna be like a semi-weekly stream, and anybody and everybody is welcome to join and come aboard at any time. There's going to be plenty of storylines. Anybody can come and go as they please. This isn't like a one and done kind of deal. I'm going to keep all this information for everybody, what you guys put down and everything. It is easier if you guys are in the Discord. It is easier to manage, I'll be honest. So if you're not in the Discord and you would like to join, please do so. But I'm pretty sure everybody is already here. So you guys are now on the farm. Professor Redwood is just pretty much gave the speech that I just gave you guys. Prefer Picture me as Professor Redwood, just me in a lab coat. You all have received your starter Pokemon because in the program for you to join, these Pokemon were given to you. So you don't really, this is your first time interacting with your starter Pokemon. You did not bring your starter Pokemon with you. That's another reason why they're all on level 1. These Pokemon were bred specifically for you. Butter, I like the sound of that. That sounds funny. But if I was in real life, if I was a Pokemon professor, that's what I would call myself, I think. It goes with the theme of the professors being named after trees, plants, etc. Barnabas rolls to boop Dratini on the snoot. Okay, so that's what a lot of this is going to entail. You guys get a look at my little wallpaper there. Poliwag's just gonna chill here for now. So Barnabas goes to Boop Dratini on the Snoop. Usually it's going to be a d20 when you guys roll to do things. A d20 is usually the generic roll. You get a 4. And the lower the number, the more negative the consequence. So, unfortunately, Barnabas, your Dratini turns away from your hand, but acknowledges the attempt. So, no Snoop Boops. All right, guys. So, Professor Redwood says in order to become a member of the PPC, you need to go through the training program. On the farm, there are several tasks that need to be completed. Let's go back to the farm. That's not the farm. This is the farm. Yeah, you can rename your Pokemon as many times as you want, within reason, of course. So once he evolves, if you want to change your name, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, Freeze, you're still in. Since you'll be joining us right now, if you're sticking around. Let me pull up your Pokemon. You want to rename him Noodle? All right, Noodle it will be. Okay, Freeze has joined. Freeze, did you have Froakie as well, or did you have Charmander? You had Charmander. All right, let's pull up the Charmander. What's up, Spider? Do you want to give a nickname to your Charmander, Freeze? And it is a boy. We're going to roll to see its nature. You got a 9. Your Charmander has a relaxed nature, so its defense will be higher when it levels up, but it will take a hit in speed. Name him Danny. Charmander, Danny. Danny the Relaxed. Pokédexes are not invented yet. We don't have the technology to record every single Pokemon. So the Professor Redwood acknowledges Freeze showing up late, tosses him his Pokeball. Out the Pokeball comes Charmander. Charmander is relaxed, just sitting there with his hand on one of his hands on his chin, resting. So K-Rool asked about the Pokedex being invented. So we actually have communications with the Professor Oak and several other professors from the regions where the Pokemon came from. We haven't physically been able to travel over to their world yet, but we can physically speak with them through our special phones. And they are working on being able to summon these wormholes at will to where we can get more Pokeballs, more technology to harbor these Pokemon. So it's a operation. Spider, it's not too late for you to join. If you want to be a part of this, you'll have to fill out the application for it. It's either in the Discord or on the community post. We are just starting. And that's what the majority of this stream is going to be. Is it like I said, it's a trial period to see how this is working out. If you guys are enjoying it, I get to see what is working out on my end, what's easier or not to do. And anybody can join at any time. Once we get things going, new people can come aboard. I'm also trying to figure out how many people can comfortably play at once. I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to govern 10 people at once. I think 6 is probably going to be the limit at the same time. Excuse me. The later you join, there are some disadvantages. Barnabas is right. There is some parts of the story, like the lore, you might miss. But your Pokemon, I will help newer players. Like when you start, the people who start, they're going to be on the farm. Everybody's going to start on the farm. Everybody's going to be able to grind their low level Pokemon up. And then I'll be able to throw them a bone, so to speak, in order for them to be able to catch up, depending on how often they play as well. If somebody comes in and just plays for one stream and then I don't see them again for months, then there's not much I can do about that. But if you're dedicated to playing, I can help you catch up to the rest of the party. So you guys don't. Your mission is not to record your Pokédex. You do not have to fill out the Pokédex. That's not what the Pokemon Peace Corps is here about. You guys are going to be helping out civilians. You're going to be damage control when wild Pokemon run amok. You're going to be governing laws, so to speak, when it comes to poaching, smuggling. There are going to be people who are going to break the law with Pokemon. It is up to you to bring justice to those, protect the innocent. Oh, excuse me. I need to drink water. Hold on a second. All right, so now that I have if you have your starter Pokemon, these are your options for the day. We have Wild Rattata sneaking into the supply shed and stealing food out of the pantry. They're stealing grain from all the Pokemon that we have here. In addition, there are several bird Pokemon who are harassing the livestock, stealing their food, so we need help with that as well. So those are the two options for you guys. You guys can decide to team up together or you guys can separate in separate parties if you guys want to spread out. It's totally up to you how you want to do things. Okay, Brotherhood, I'll be happy to have you and anybody else who decides to join. All right, we got 3 people who are going to go after the Rattata first. Excuse me. Spider, did you fill out the application? Yeah, unfortunately, Spider, you won't be able to participate today because I have enough for I where I have to get at least some missions going for the people who signed up prematurely. But I will be trying to stream this once a week every Sunday. This will temporarily take over Smash Sundays. Freeze, are you there? Are you gonna or are you gonna hang out in the classroom relaxing with your Charmander? I'm glad you're enjoying it, Butter. I had a fear that nobody was gonna like actually be interested in doing something like this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go into the food den. Professor Redwood shows you where it's at. Freeze will just stay by himself with his Charmander. Alright, Professor Redwood looks at Freeze, acknowledges him, and then goes back to his desk to do some papers. Now, when you guys go to a new area and you want to look, there's a bunch of options you can do when you go somewhere. One of the first things that usually is done is you want to look what's around you, and then I would roll a dice for you, and depending on what your wisdom is, what your wisdom stat is, it gets added to the die roll. And like I said, the higher the die roll, the better the outcome for you. The lower the die roll, the worse the outcome for you. Which Butter, I'm going to have your stats as well. You forgot to put what stats you wanted for your trainer. You get to distribute 12 points into strength, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, dexterity, and what did I miss? Constitution. So who's going to be the party leader, first of all? If you guys are teaming up, there needs to be a party leader. The party leader gets the final say in group decisions. Pasco says he nominates himself. Barnabas nominates Pasco. Pasco it is. So the three of you enter the den where the food should be stored. Who wants to be the one to look around? All right, K. Rule says he will check things out. So H, he has his stats spread evenly down the middle. So he has a 2 on his wisdom. So whatever I roll, this is going to be his, it's called a perception roll. That's what the D20 roll is when you're looking around the area. So I'm going to roll this, and I'm going to add 2 to it because that is H's wisdom stat. An 18 plus 2, that is a 20. So that is a perfect perception check, which means I will tell you everything there is to do in that room, plus with bonus content. So you're in the room, you see bags of grain have been chewed through. You can tell that many rattata have been in the area. You can even make out little footprints in the dusty floorboards of where they ran to. You also find a shiny object behind one of the sacks. Barnabas, that is fun. All right, what is going on now? There's a shiny object next to one of the ransacked sacks. And you see footprints where the rattata have been. All right, since you rolled a 20, there's nothing to happen. Nothing's gonna happen to you. You get the object, and it is a shiny stone. So a shiny stone has been added to H's inventory. As you pick up the shiny stone, you hear some creaking up above on the wooden rafters. Yes, you can. You guys can trade items as long as you're in the same party. So Freeze is in the classroom. Freeze is not part of your party, so you guys would not be able to give him any items, and he's not able to interact with any of you yet. You guys could even trade Pokemon if you wish, but you cannot trade your starter Pokemon. You are correct, Brotherhood. You have 12 points to spread. As a quick reminder, um, your strength is based on your physical, like your physical power. Your dexterity is your physical speed. Your intelligence is how you're able to decipher knowledge, like reading what people tell you. Your constitution is your overall health. The higher your constitution, the higher your HP will be. Your wisdom is primarily for perception checks and status effects. If your wisdom is very high, you might be able to avoid certain status effects from hitting you. And then your charisma will be based on how the overall population perceives you. High charisma means you will interact with, you'll generally have a positive outcome when you're interacting with people, but a low charisma, if it gets too low, you might end up being wanted by police or other members of the PPC. So H looks up, and there is indeed a rattata up above. Okay, no problem, H. Barnabas says, hi, Charisma will help you boop the snoot. It will not help you boop the snoot, unfortunately. Okay, so the Rattata is there. Let's find out this Rattata's nature. 7. This Rattata is impish. It's got higher defense, but low special attack. So the Rattata stands up in a defensive posture, bearing its front fang. You do not have any Pokeballs yet. You don't have anything in your inventory other than the shiny stone. The Rattata jumps down and is ready for combat. Who will be the one to face the Rattata? Also, when you're in parties, if no person can take the same action 2 times in a row. So if K. Rool fights this Rattata, if a second one would appear, K. Rool cannot fight the Rattata. It has to be another party member. And then it can't go back to another party member until at least one person from each party has completed an action. That way, not one person hogs everything if they so choose, if they want to do so. And I'm looking into seeing if I could get more music for this, because I want to get like the Pokemon battle music, but I wasn't sure how to implement that yet. Freeze, you're currently not in a party, you're just on your own, so whatever actions you choose to do will solely be on you. You can take as many actions as you want, but you'll be by yourself. That's the only downside to it. So I gotta pull up your Poliwag's moves, what it has. And this will be a lesson on how combat works. Alright, so your Poliwag, for starters, has a water absorb ability. This Pokemon will heal 25% of his max HP if it's hit with a water type move. Your Poliwag has Water Gun and Hypnosis. Water Gun is a water attack. It's a special attack, and the way damage is calculated with Water Gun, you roll a d6, and then whatever the result is, plus your Poliwag's special attack stat, will be the damage, and then it would be reduced by whatever Rattata's special defense stat is. And that is how damage is accumulated. Okay, Brotherhood, after the stream, I will look it up and I will DM you all the information that I would need for you so you can get started next week when we play this again. You could you could very well do that. But eventually, your Pokemon will run out of moves. Your Pokemon will get tired. So the more you use them in and outside of battle, the more tired they will get. And if they start getting exhausted, they will start to not like you. But I will let you guys know when that happens. And as far as hypnosis goes for your Poliwag, Butter, you roll a d4. If you get a 3 or 4, the target goes to sleep. And then a d4 is rolled again to see how many turns that Pokemon will be asleep. And lastly, I gotta pull up the Poliwag stats. But I'm pretty sure the Poliwag is faster than the Rattata because I know Poliwag's got high base speed. Poliwag, where you at? Alright, your Poliwag's got a starting speed of 8. You are faster than the Rattata, so you do get to do the first move. And your Poliwag has 10 HP. So the Rattata is waiting for you to attack. But if you wait too long, it's going to make the first move. So what will you do? Yes, crits exist. When you go to attack, I'll roll the d20. If you get a 1, that's an automatic miss. If you get a 20, that's a crit. Alright, Poliwag uses Water Gun. Rolling the d20. It hits. The Rattata takes the Water Gun, but still shows some signs of fight. You guys will not know how much HP the defending Pokemon has left, unless there's a certain class that could find that out. There are also items in the game that will help you find out. All that stuff will appear later, but normally you'll only be clued in on what the Pokemon's looks like as far as in terms of if it's about to faint or not. And then you'll just have to use your judgment on when you think it's almost about to faint if you are interested in catching it when you guys do get Pokeballs and such. So the Poliwag goes to use, or the Rattata goes to use Tackle on the Poliwag. 2, it's a hit. Your Poliwag takes 3 damage and goes to 7 health. Back to you, Butter. Poliwag uses Hypnosis. This means we got a D4. If you get a 3 or 4, the Rattata will fall asleep. That's a 4. The Rattata is now asleep. Let's see how many turns the Rattata will be asleep for. 4 turns. Alright, so I'm pretty sure unless you miss with your water guns, you're going to win this fight. So the Poliwag is now asleep. Or I keep messing that up. The Rattata is now asleep and has 3 turns left of sleep. Water gun. Okay, the Rattata faints in its sleep, and you are awarded XP, and your Poliwag is now leveled up to level 2. The sounds of battle have summoned 2 more Rattata behind you. So there's 1 Rattata to fight H and 1 Rattata to fight Barnabas. So it is a double battle. 2 Rattata versus Barnabas's Dratini and H's Froakie. See the nature of the Rattata facing H. I do believe that's modest. Yep. And then the Rattata facing Barnabas. Relaxed. Another relaxed Rattata. Oh, wait. No, I got it confused. So this one is modest, and the one facing H is relaxed. Moves for your Froakie. Oh, yeah, sorry. Your Froakie has Pound, which is a normal physical attack where you roll a d6, or sorry, a d4, and plus your physical attack, or the Froakie's physical attack, and that versus the Rattata's defense. And Growl lowers the target's attack stage by 1. So Froakie's got Pound and Growl, and Barnabas's Dratini's got Wrap and Leer. The Froakie gets to move first. The Froakie is fastest. K-Rool's going to use Pound on the one in front of him. See if it hits. It does hit. See how much. 3 plus the Froakie's physical attack of 4, 7. Alright, the Rattata takes the blow, but still looks like nothing happened. Dratini gets to go next. I should say Noodle gets to go next. Will you be rapping or will you be leering? Barnabas uses rap. See if it hits. It succeeds in hitting. Let's see how many turns the Rattata will be wrapped for. Oh, not 9 turns. 4 turns. Okay, so the Rattata and Dratini are locked in combat. The Rattata that's being wrapped up uses Tail Whip on the Dratini, reducing Dratini's defense by 1. So Noodle's defense drops by 1. Rattata number 1 is facing off against Mega, trying to use Tackle. D20 roll. It's a hit. And it does minimal damage to Froakie. Mega, excuse me. So your Froakie has 12 HP and only took 2 damage. Okay, it's Mega's turn. Pound again. It's a hit. A 1. Minimal damage to the Rattata. But the Rattata is showing some signs of fatigue. The Dratini Noodle uses Wrap on the Rattata he's currently wrapped around. That Rattata is starting to breathe heavily. That Rattata, being wrapped by Noodle, goes to tackle Noodle. And the attack misses. We got a 1. The Rattata facing Mega goes to use Tackle. It's a hit for minimal damage again. Froakie, or I should say Mega, has 8 HP left. Back to you, Mega. Pound. It's a hit. 2 plus the Froakie's attack stat of 4, 6. The Rattata has fallen down, but gets up slowly. The Rattata that Noodle has wrapping fainted. Both Noodle and Mega go up to level 2. It's Torrent. When you're at a third of your max HP, your water moves will deal an extra 50% damage. So you're not quite there yet. Torrent has not activated yet. There's still 1 Rattata left against H and Mega. So Mega, it's your turn. Correct. Correct. I assume you're going to use Pound again? Yes, sir. Does Pound hit? It connects. Minimal damage, but the Rattata faints. The battle is over. You hear a round of applause from behind you. Professor Redwood walks in. He says, "Oh, I see you boys had your first Pokemon battle. It looks like that's taking care of the Rattata. Your Pokemon looks like they can use some healing, so I'll just go ahead and heal them for you." He sprays them with some potions, and everybody's Pokemon is fully healed. Barnabas bows to give a post-win boop the snoot. And a 20. Noodle allows Barnabas to boop his snoot and actually curls around his arm, hugging him dearly. Noodle has 100% trust in Barnabas. Noodle is now wrapped around Barnabas like a scarf. Alright, Butter wants to bond with his Poliwag. As you try to cuddle the Poliwag, you drench yourself in water. Poliwag looks at you confusingly but smiles. H also attempts to pat Mega on the head. As you lean down to pat Mega on the head, you slip and accidentally smack Mega in the face. Mega growls angrily and blows a bubble in your face. You lose 1 HP. You have 11 out of 12 HP. Oh boy. Froggy is not pleased. We got a nat 20 and a nat 1 for friendship rolls. The Pokemon look tired, so Professor Redwood says, "I think it's time for lunch. I have sandwiches back in the classroom." We'll go back to the farm since the battle is over. Poliwag looks at the sandwich and sucks it down his gullet. You can see the sandwich slowly drop into the center of its spiral stomach. Hey, Gluttony, it's going good. I mean, we're starting off slow, but that was expected. But I think so far so good. I'm having fun doing this. I know you signed up to take part in it. Are you sticking around? I can find out your Pokemon's nature. We just finished the battle tutorial, so to speak. Alright, this is a roll for the sandwich to Mega. Mega blowing bubbles out of frustration, but he spitingly grabs the sandwich and turns around with his back to you, nibbles on the sandwich, but then hums happily as he takes a bite. This calms Mega down, and he's no longer mad at you. Professor Redwood laughs at all the interactions that have been happening. Barnabas attempts to feed Noodle. Noodle looks at the sandwich, takes a couple bites, whines happily, and returns to your neck. Yeah, Gluttony, since you had joined and filled all the information out previously along with the rest of these guys, you're welcome to come in. We're back in the classroom. That's where everybody starts, or in the classroom on the farmhouse. So in walks Gluttony. His name is Dan. He's a rune maniac. Professor Redwood looks at Dan. Oh, he's like, I'm so glad you made it. The professor tosses you a Pokeball. The Pokeball automatically opens and out pops a Ghastly. Would you like to nickname your Would you like to nickname your Ghastly? Your Ghastly is a boy. Let's roll for the Ghastly's nature. 9. Relaxed. That's the third relaxed Pokemon we've had. The Ghastly's nickname is now Tox. Tox is floating in the air, half asleep, but acknowledges you as its trainer. So as I was explaining to the others, what the reason why you guys are here on this farm is the professor and the company of professors want to establish a Pokemon Peace Corps. So anytime I say PPC, that's what PPC will stand for. And in the world, it takes place on our world in planet Earth during this time frame. However, in the ancient, well, years and years ago, wormhole opened and Pokemon spilled out into our world from the Pokemon world. And over time, the Pokemon took over the ecosystems, the biodiversity, since the Pokemon are that powerful. All of Earth's original animals either evolved into Pokemon themselves or went extinct. And the Pokemon pretty much took over their spot in the food chain, so to speak. Okay, Butter, I am acknowledging that you are going to the local pool in the area where water Pokemon will be. So the professor wants to form the Peace Corps because even though society acknowledges that the Pokemon live side by side with humans today, there are people who still want to use them for war, for domination, for exploitation, poaching, black market trades. Um, and it's up to you guys to enforce those laws if you so choose to do so. I'm glad you're enjoying it, H. So, Dan, when you walk in, you see Freeze with Charmander. You see H with Froakie. You see Barnabas with a Dratini wrapped around his neck. Not choking him. It's wrapped like a scarf. The Dratini is very friendly towards him. And I know Pasco is also here, but he walked out right before you walked in. So he'll be at a pool. So you want to roll for your relationship with your Tox. You wake up Tox from his daydream / nap. He eyes you around, he circles your body, and then he laughs cheerfully to himself, then falls back to sleep. So Butter has, or I should say Pasco has left the party. He is now on his own. There is one small pond outside of the farmland. Pasco, do you want to do a perception roll, I assume? We'll go ahead and do that for you. You roll an 8. Freeze is just wearing a trench coat in the corner. You see several bird Pokemon flying in the sky, but they're too high for you to be able to identify them. The water looks crystal clear. There are a few Milk Tank and Tauros drinking from the pond. These Pokemon all have tags on them, so they belong to the owner of the farm. The professor calls you back to the classroom. Pasco. You hear his voice. He wants to give everybody something. Pasco has rejoined the party. Everybody's in the classroom. Professor Redwood hands out small backpacks to each person. They have the PPC logo on them. The backpacks are red, and the PPC is in black lettering. It's like the opposite of the Team Rocket colors. So they almost look like Team Magma, but they clearly have PPC written on it. In those backpacks, everybody receives 6 Pokeballs and 3 potions. Professor explains that the potions can be used either on yourself or your Pokemon, and they heal 20 HP apiece. But once a potion is used, it will be consumed and will be discarded from your inventory. Yes, you can later customize everything. There will be, when you get into cities and certain towns, there will be facilities for you to further customize your look. Your clothes that you will be wearing will also either help or hinder certain stats. Pasco offers his shoulder to Poliwag. Poliwag laughs and jumps up on your shoulder. Your shoulder is a little wet though, but Poliwag does not seem to mind. In the backpacks are also a map of the region of Florida. This is where you guys are. You guys are in the state of Florida. The name of the farm is called Meadowwood Farms. As long as you have the map, you cannot get lost in the state of Florida. There are also cell phones in each backpack. These cell phones will be able, you can communicate with the professor at any time. Should you have any questions about a certain Pokemon, what an item does, places of interest, any kind of advice. You can also use these phones to contact each other. Dan would like to take stock of his pack's inventory and give Tox a choice between being inside or outside of his Pokeball. Florida is not the limit to your adventure. There are going to be gym leaders, and there are going to be gym leaders for the state. There is a Pokemon League in this world, and it goes by State League, Nation League, and World League. In order to compete for the Nation League, you have to win the State League, and in order to compete for the World League, you have to win the Nation League. The beginning of your journey will take place in Florida. There will be uh, certain events that will temporarily take you to other places outside of Florida, other countries, sometimes even other worlds. It'll all depend on if you have the money to afford it or if you're just lucky to be in a certain event at a certain time. I also have to roll for the weather. I should have done that at the very beginning, but it won't really matter that much today since today's basically like the tutorial and most of everything took place inside. So weather will not be rolled today, but for starting next Sunday when you guys will go start your adventure, I'll give you the options of what places you can visit. The first thing I'll do when the game starts is roll the dice to see what the weather will be. And the weather does affect what spawns in the world around you and how the world around you reacts. So, for example, if it's raining, then you're not going to see a lot of fire Pokemon out and about. And if you're doing outside activities that require the use of fire, or if you have a Charmander, you don't want the Charmander to be walking around in the rain. Okay, I forgot to do a roll for if Tox wants to be in the Pokeball or not. As Dan offers the Pokeball, Tox opens one eye while still half asleep and then goes back to sleep, not interested in going back in the ball just yet. The professor answers H's question. Some leagues have their own rules. Some leaders have doubles, some have triple. It all depends on who you're facing. Pasco goes to the kitchen, and 10 minutes later, he returns with Pokepuffs for everyone's Pokemon. Well, let's see. Did you successfully do that? Oof. You did not find any Pokepuffs in the kitchen. All you found was kibble, and the professor tells you that that kibble is for the livestock, for the milk tank, and for the Tauros. All the leagues can be won uh, by yourself. If there is a double or a triple battle, it would still be a one-on-one basis. As the week progresses on the Discord, I will give you, as I come up with locations for the game, I will send screenshots of the locations as the week progresses. And then when we play again on Sunday, you guys can decide which of those places you want to visit. And I'll also write it on the community post as well for those who don't have to have Discord. Also, besides the map and phone, what were the other items in the pack again? Everybody got 6 Pokeballs, 2 potions. Those are the only disposable items in your pack. 6 Pokeballs, 2 potions. As a reminder for Pokeballs, you're only able to carry 6 Pokemon at a time. You have to go to a Pokemon Center to switch your Pokemon. Uh, we don't have the technology yet to be able to swap Pokemon in a on-the-go database. That's for Pasco to try to paint his Pokeball. Fortunately, the professor does not have any painting supplies on the property for that Pokeball to even be painted in such a manner. Currently, the leader of the team is Pasco, aka Butter. But that can change. That can change as many times as you guys want. So somebody else could be the leader next time we play. And you can leave the party at any time. If you disagree something with the leader and you don't want to do something, you're welcome to go solo at any point. But it can be dangerous out there depending on where you're going and what you're doing if you are solo. If at any point your Pokemon's HP reaches 0, it will faint. If the Pokemon's HP somehow gets in the negatives, if its max HP reaches the negative value of, so if the Pokemon gets negative HP equal to its max HP, your Pokemon will die. I could not stress that enough. If your Pokemon takes like a critical hit and it does massive damage, if it's in dangerous way somehow, some way, or you just don't heal it and you let it stay at 0 health and somehow it still gets attacked, Your Pokemon can die. You can also die. The same goes true for you. If you get put in harm's way and your health goes to negative, you can be killed in this game. And then that would be an elimination, so to speak. And then you would have to wait a while before creating another character and pretty much start all over again. So that's why it's always good to at least have one person with you so that they could rescue you, heal you, resuscitate you with revives or something. You're correct, Brotherhood. This borrows a lot of Dungeons and Dragons elements. Yeah, if a ghost Pokemon gets to negative HP, it will just fade away. Its soul will return to rest, so to speak, and it will just dissipate. Pasco asked if those birds from the second mission earlier are still an issue. Yes, those birds do continue to be an issue. It's mostly going to be a daily thing. There's always going to be, they're always going to spawn. They're always going to be a nuisance. The nest is probably somewhere in a property nearby, but at the moment we don't have the resources to locate it yet. At this moment, the best thing you can do is just patrol the field and attack any bird on sight. The max number of people in a party is 6. There cannot be more than 6 people in a party. And depending on the situation, enemies will spawn based on how many people are in the party as well, unless it's like a special event going on. There will be Pokemon swarms. So normally, if you are rolling with 1 or 2 people, I'll keep the spawns low. But if you're rolling with like a squad of 6, then you're going to get like a lot of Pokemon spawning more often per player. The professor says, "All right, well, I think that's a good idea to take care of those birds before the sun goes down. If you can still battle at night, but again, Pokemon and yourself can get tired. If you get to the tired state, you'll start to suffer in stat reduction until you rest in a bed, or if you have a sleeping bag or a tent, or if you have a certain perk based on your trainer class that lets you sleep outside. Yeah, you can jump in and out of any party anytime, Freeze. Okay, H is staying back. Professor said you guys are welcome to spend the night here when that time comes. Dan will try to build more of a bond with Tox. All right, we're going to do the Tox roll. Tox opens one of his eyes again as he's trying to take another day nap. He looks like he does not want to be bothered right now. Brotherhood, I will message you more about like the trainer skills and perks and whatnot. It's a lot of information, and I think it can be explained better in like a text. All right, so now we're going to transition to the field. I think I got a field. Oh yeah, boom. Here's the grassy field. You see several other livestock Pokemon grazing and munching on stuff on the grass. Where do I gotta go? Where to go? Here. You see Milk Tank. You see Tauros. Some Wooloo. All right, Butter wants to try to show pictures of. Fortunately, I can't even roll for that because you don't have any way of showing those pictures or live video. The phones that you got from the professor are not smartphones. They're like walkie-talkie phones. They are not smartphones. I know it's 2023, but professor can't afford to give out free smartphones. There will be you'll be able to buy something like that in the future. We'll see if there's a Polytoad poster in the professor's. Nope, no Polytoad posters. Joy Boy just looks at you confusingly but smiles nonetheless. Who wants to do a perception roll for the field? Barnabas. Perception roll on the field. You got a 7 plus your wisdom. That gives you a 10. From above, you see Pidgey, Spearow, and no, Tailo. Yeah, Tailo. I almost said Swallow. Brotherhood. So we'll pull up Pidgey first. Pidgey will be the first to land, eyeing the food on the ground. Pidgey. Gotta roll for the Pidgey's nature. 7. Impish nature. So Joy Boy is going to be battling the Pidgey. So that's one fight that will be happening. Now we gotta look up the Spearow. Where'd it go? Where's my roller? Here it is. Spearow, 8. That's a lax nature for Spearow. Who's fighting the Spearow? And then Tailo. Ooh, a 20. If we get a 20 again, this Tailo's gonna be a shiny. Oh, it's a shiny Tailo! We got our first shiny on the stream. Wow. I did not expect a wild shiny to spawn. Yes, you have 6 Pokeballs in your bag. Barnabas got the claim for the Tailo. So Joy Boy is against the Pidgey. Barnabas is against the shiny Tailo. And Spearow does not have an opponent yet. Nobody has any water moves yet. Alright, the shiny Tailo is the faster one. So it's going to attack Noodle with Peck. See if it hits. Peck misses. It's Joy Boy's turn against the Pidgey. So the turn order in this fight is Tailo first, Joy Boy second, Pidgey third, Noodle fourth, and Spearow fifth. Spearow still needs an opponent, otherwise he's going to double team somebody. Joy Boy uses Hypnosis on the Pidgey. It is successfully asleep for 2 turns. It's the Pidgey's turn versus Joy Boy. Pidgey's going to use Tackle on Joy Boy. 18. So let's calculate damage. 1 plus the Pidgey's attack stat of 2. Joy Boy takes 3 damage. Joy Boy's HP is down to 7. Noodle's turn. Oh yeah, my bad. My bad. I totally disregarded that it's asleep. Thanks for calling me out on that. Never mind, the Pidgey's asleep for 1 turn. So, Noodle, you're going to throw a Pokeball at Tailo? Is that what you're doing? Alright, so now this is the tutorial for Pokeballs. So each Pokemon has a catch rate. Now, catching Pokemon is the opposite of like all other D20 rolls because you want to score low to catch a Pokemon. So the Talos capture rate is, I gotta look that up real quick. $40. So if you're using a regular Pokeball, well, the Pokemon's at full HP, so that's going to reduce the capture rate by 15. So 40 minus 15 is 25. And I do believe it's multiple D20 rolls to see if you catch it. I gotta confirm real quick. I thought I had that written down, but I didn't. Crap. Sorry, guys. All right, you have to throw five. It's 5 D20s. Yeah, I know, Freeze. Okay, so you have to roll 5 D20s. If you roll lower than the capture rate, then you catch the Pokemon. So because the Tailor has a capture rate of 40, and because it's at full health, the capture rate's reduced to 25. So if you get under 25 with these 5 rolls, you catch the Pokemon. So here's the first of 5. Well, that's 20, so I don't think you're catching it. 23, 26. All right, it's not 25, so you didn't catch it. It breaks out of the Pokeball. You now have 5 Pokeballs left in your inventory. That counted as Noodle's turn, so Spearow is going to peck at Noodle. Unless somebody is facing off against the Spearow. Freeze, are you fighting the Spearow? Yeah, all 5 need to be under 25, but the base capture rate for the Taillow was 40. Because he was at full health, the capture rate was reduced. The more HP the Taillow would be missing, that increases the capture rate, if that makes sense. Alright, Freeze is coming in with his Charmander. So Spiro will peck the Charmander instead. Let's see if it hits. It does hit. Peck. 4 plus the Spiro's attack. Charmander takes damage. Charmander has 8 health left out of 12. The Charmander's attacks are Scratch and Leer. Scratch is a physical, does normal damage. It's calculated by 1d4 plus your Charmander's attack stat, which is 5, minus the opposing Pokemon's defense. Leer reduces the Pokemon's defense stat by 1. Or I should say Growl. Scratch and Growl. Growl reduces the attack by 1. I think he has Growl. Alright, you're going to Scratch. Boom. The attack hits for 4 plus the attack. Yeah, Scratch and Growl. Okay, the Spearow takes a scratch, and the Spearow, you can see a tear drop from its eye as it's in pain. Back to the Tailo. The Tailo is going to try to peck Noodle. It's a hit for 4. Noodle takes 5. Noodle's health goes to 7. Joy Boy's turn. Joy Boy, you are up. Water Gun. 13, it's a hit. 2 plus special attack on the Pidgey. The Pidgey is drenched and all and is spitting up water as it's snoring through the bubbles. Dratini's total HP is 14. And your total HP is 12, I believe. No, your total HP is 10. Your total HP is 10, and your Pokemon's total HP is 14. So the Pidgey has fallen asleep for 2 turns and will wake up on its next turn if it gets one. Noodle, it is back to you. Yeah, if Noodle faints, you can keep using Pokeballs all you want. Noodle uses Wrap. 10, it's a... Oh, wait. Yeah, oh yeah, it's a hit. For 2 turns, the Tailo is being wrapped. Spearo's turn, peck on the Charmander. It's a hit for minimal damage. Charmander's at 6 health. Charmander's turn. Scratch again. It's a hit. Decent damage. The Spearow fainted. Charmander levels up to level 2. Tailo uses Peck on Noodle. Whoa, I didn't want to roll 2 of those. It's a hit. Decent damage. Noodle goes to 3 health. Vasco, you'll get money by doing rewards and missions. Or you could rob people if you want, but I don't recommend that. Joy Boy's turn. You currently have $0. Water gun. Does water gun hit? It succeeds. Does minimal damage, but the Pidgey faints. And Joy Boy goes to level 3. Leer reduces the target's defense stat by 1, but you don't have Leer, you actually have Growl. I misspoke. Growl reduces the attack stat by 1. So the Pidgey's fainted, the Charmander, or the Pidgey's fainted, the Spearow's fainted. It is now down to Noodle and the shiny Tailo. Tailo loses 1/8 of its health. Barnabas uses a Pokeball. Tailo is not at full HP anymore, so we have capture rate of 40. The capture rate's only reduced by 5 now, so because it has still 75% of its HP. So 35 is what you need to roll under for the Tailo. 1. So that's 12. 29. 32. 46. All right, that is another failed capture. You have 4 Pokeballs left, Barnabas. Growl reduces the Pokemon's attack stat. So you reduce your the opposing Pokemon's attack. Tailo goes to peck the Dratini. It succeeds. Does minimal damage. Dratini is held on with 1 HP. The Tailo loses 1/8 of its health from the rat. You sure can, Freeze. You guys can give out Pokemon as many times as you wish. So, Freeze, you're going to try to throw a Pokeball at it? Yes, you guys certainly can help each other out. Freeze uses one of his Pokeballs. It still has more than 75%, so the capture rate is now 35. 8, 21, 25, 31. If he gets a 4 or lower on this roll, then it is caught. Nope, the Pokemon breaks out the ball. Freeze is now down to 5 Pokeballs. Pasco, what's your decision? Pasco throws one of his balls. Still going for 35. Nope, the Pokemon breaks out. Tailo loses 1/8 of its health. Dan sees Dratini on the verge of fainting, wrapped around the Tailo, who is pecking at it vigorously, while Barnabas, Pasco, and Freeze have surrounded it. There is a fainted Pidgey and a fainted Spearow nearby. Noodle's HP is 1. H sees the same thing that Dan does. Barnabas uses a potion on Dratini. Dratini's health is maxed. 14. Tailo goes to peck. Succeeds. Decent damage. Noodle's HP goes down to 11. Pasco throws a Pokeball. He is down to 4. The Tailo now has under 75 HP. So this actually increases the capture rate to 45. Or actually, there is no increase. It's a solid 40. $13, 10, 10. Oh, if you get a 1, you catch it, Pasco. That is not a 1. The Tailo breaks out. It's on you now, Barnabas. K-Rool throws one of his Pokeballs. Or I should say H. 6, 3, 9. Oh, this Pokemon's getting caught. And H successfully catches the shiny Tailo. Congratulations. Sorry, Barnabas. Oh boy. That was crazy. H decides to give it to Barnabas. Barnabas, do you receive the Pokeball? Professor Redwood watches the entire interaction, takes a sip of his coffee, and thinks that he made some good choices for the future PPC trainers. He calls everybody inside, heals everybody's Pokemon, and thanks them for helping out with the daily chores on the farm. He offers food for everybody for the night, food for everybody's Pokemon, free lodging, and pays everybody $20 for helping out on the farm today. So $20 will be added to everybody's inventory. I will be, for those of you who are on Discord, I will be sending you messages of what your inventory is. Barnabas, I will send you information on what the stats and nature and the move set on the Talo that you were gifted. It's also shiny. That is incredible that we actually had a shiny Pokemon spawn on the first day of this adventure. This adventure is coming to a close. We will be wrapping it up and we'll be playing again same time. I want to say next Sunday. I know we're getting close to Christmas, so it might not be, depending on who's all here for that, if anybody is, we'll see if the story will actually start to progress or not. Because I know it is going to be the holiday weekend. People are going to be away on holiday with their friends and families on any of those days. But Sunday is when we'll be doing these Pokemon tabletop streams. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for bearing with me. I have to say, when the stream started, I was like, oh man, this is kind of an overwhelming task, but I love Pokemon. I'm enjoying the streaming. I'm enjoying your guys' company. I like it so much. No problem. Then I will hope to see most of you on Sunday. We will be going on a raid, though. Even though we didn't play any games, we are going to raid somebody tonight. So, let's see who that will be. Let's go raid Monk. He graciously raided us on our last stream when we got 4 raids, which was incredible in itself. Here's Monk's link. I'll try not to be 7 minutes late next time, Mega. Now that I know how this is all operates, and I'm gonna have even more information and things, so things are gonna go smoother. There's gonna be more action. I'm glad this wasn't boring. I'm glad we got a shiny to appear within the game. That's the first time since I've been doing this. This is my second time ever playing this. As I said, I did do this session with people in real life with my coworkers years ago, and they enjoyed it. So I was a little bit iffy about doing it online, but I'm so glad I did. I can't thank you guys enough. Let's go say hi to Monk, show him some love and support, just like you guys show me. And I will see you all tomorrow for some Smash Brothers for those who are smashing. Have a good night, everybody, and thanks again.